And I would suggest they might start off with maybe somebody arrested that had been using marijuana for medical reasons, and it was the third time he was arrested, and he had a mandatory life sentence and never committed a violent crime. I think laws like that ought to be nullified and erased from the books. One dream that I've had, and I continue to have, we're all allowed to have some dreams. My dream is that I can participate in a group like this that will light the light of liberty in the hearts of all Americans. That is what I really dream of, where people know it and understand it and believe in it and promote it. That is what we need. Then we don't have to fear our neighbors. We don't have to fear our neighbors because they're going to send the government after us to collect more taxes because they want something. They're not going to send the government to tell us whether or not we're allowed to have tobacco or use a marijuana cigarette when we think it might help a medical problem. I mean, this would be a magnificent dream. In our early years, there were a few countries that tried to emulate us and say, you know, America is a great place. They have freedom, and we ought to try that. And people did try to do it, but not necessarily all that successful. But there's no reason that we have to think that we're going to be locked into the dark ages, although that is an option if we don't do the right things. If we're not successful with the promotion of these views, I really believe we could go into some terrible dark age and go for many, many years where people live in poverty and our kids not have anything near really what we've had. And this to me is no reason if we could just set the example. I've argued so often that our foreign policy has only two options. One, we go to our other countries and we tell them, we want you to do this. And they say, oh, okay, we'll do them because you're big and powerful. So we give them money. Then we go over here and we say, we want you to do this. And they say, well, we don't like you and we're not going to do it. So we drop bombs on them. Why can't we have the third option? Why can't we say, we want to trade with you, we want to talk with you, we want to get along with you, we want to go back and forth in travel, and when you see what we have, you're going to want to be like us. But you can't make other people act the way you want them to be by grabbing them by the shirt collar and shaking them and saying, you have to believe in this. You want to be very principled, believe in something 100% and know it. But I really believe it's important that the rhetoric be different. Because if the rhetoric is rough and coarse and insisting on how people should live, they will rebel, and that is human nature. They will just push you away. But the most important thing is to understand the issues, and when you will feel good is when people will come and ask you a question. You may say something over and over and over again, and nobody listens. I had the conviction, or at least I was convinced that probably I would go through a congressional career where nobody would ever ask me a question. And nobody would. And I thought, well, it doesn't matter. Maybe somebody out there will listen and pick up from it and follow through with it. If I set a standard and set a record, and on occasion, you know, I had to vote by myself in Congress just to do that. But people will come and they will ask you the question, and then they will. That is when it's important. And right now, the country is starting to ask the question. So if you're versed in the freedom philosophy, people will ask you the questions, you give them the answers, and they will join. We will always have an energetic group. It is true, and something I'm very proud of, that during the campaign, we were the most energized because, generally speaking, the other side, all the others, their thought leaders were the Keynesian professors and the interventionist philosophers about why we should police the world. But the grassroots just were robots. But the people who believe in liberty are the leaders themselves. And therefore you are not willing to sit by and just watch things go by, because you know that it's worthwhile to go out. And, you know, there were times when I would see people standing out. I mean, I was impressed, too, to see how many people stood. And I thought, well, they couldn't be doing this for me, because I'm not that important. But then I would say... It's because I have a sign there that I'm waving and you're agreeing with. And you say, he's saying the things that I want to say and the things that I believe in. There! So we all ought to pursue our dreams. We all have our personal dreams and our dreams of our family and our dreams of taking care of ourselves. But we also have to have a dream about liberty, because that is what provides us the greatest choices. Freedom is what releases the creative energy. And if you have religious belief, you have the freedom of choice and on your religious beliefs, and nobody's going to tell you what to do. And if that's important, it's important to me, and I'm sure it's important to a lot of others, that, you know, if that is the ultimate importance in your life, you don't want to have to be fighting with the government on whether or not you can say certain things in your own church. I mean, the political correctness and the abuse of the First Amendment is intruding so much that we should have this concern. But it is a wonderful thing, this message that we have, and there's every reason in the world to believe that we are making progress. We have to stay energized, get new people in this organization, get new people, start new organizations, do whatever you want. People ask me, what exactly should I do? I say, do what you want to do. People come to college kids want to know what they should major in. I said, well, what do you enjoy studying? You know, I'm not so sure going to a routine college and studying political science isn't necessarily going to solve our problems. So you know, everybody has their own way. Everybody's abilities are different. And you'd be surprised. I was surprised what happened in my career. I love medicine. I went back to medicine after being in politics for a while. And it has served me well. But and there's no reason you can't have a profession and be in political action and learn all these things. But the one other thing that I have had the most fun with, and I enjoy events like this, and you will too, and I'm sure you've experienced already, is coming together with like-minded people. So many times I'm asked about how can I maintain my sanity up in Washington, because there aren't that many like-minded people. I maintain my sanity by coming and visiting with people like you, and thank you very much for you coming tonight.